guest speaker, Nikita B. Williams. She is a clinical nurse consultant and also a comedic speaker. Um, and Nikita has been seen on Vet Network and Get Up Mornings with Erica Campbell. She, like I mentioned before, she's a comedic speaker. She has used her years of experience as a clinical nurse consultant to develop her witty ideas and strategies for getting unstuck and living a life that you will love. So today we'll be allowing her to speak, and she'll be going over her signature processes and talk about how it is to live with awareness and understanding barriers, knowing your capacity, and how your decisions can lead to a better life. So now I will go ahead and I will hand it off to Nikita.
So, Nikita, if you want to request control, you can do so that you can take it off from there.
I think that
Great.
did it. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can.
Okay, awesome stuff. I want to first start off by thanking you guys for this opportunity. I'm sure I'll probably be the most southern part of this whole presentation today. Uh, Speaking to women is amazing for me, number one, because I am a woman and I understand women's stuff. I understand women's stuff. And there's a difference between the two. What's the difference? The difference is, being a woman, we have our challenges, we have our ups, downs, we have things that we desire to do that we put off from doing because of whatever reasons. And then, being women, we have to come together with each other with these ups and downs and things we're trying to hide from each other, things we don't want people to know because we got to get to know you, and being in the tech world, sometimes that is different because a lot of times we are either behind screens or keyboards. And, especially since COVID, we're not in person as much. So you only get to meet people, through email or through slideshow decks and different things like that. I remember when we transitioned, even in the healthcare realm, to Zooms and different things to be able to communicate, and a lot of people, they weren't used to it. We had a lot of older executive leaders in healthcare, and just the regular courtesy things that you would do whenever it pertained to emails, the no-nos that we know not to do. Like, we understood that you don't send an email in all caps, and God forbid if it's all caps and bold, and then it was all caps, all bold, and it was red letters. Then wanted to make sure you got the message, so then they sent it back with a highlighter across it. And now, others, they send it, y'all know how it is, you'll send other messages behind the message. It won't be through email, but you gonna text your work buddy, right? Your work friend was like, did she just yell at me in this email? And then you see the red letters. I believe she just virtually slapped me. You don't know what's going on, right? But then we call experts like yourself when we have issues with processes or programs, or we need to figure out how something works. We need to find out how to make things conducive, and we want you to help us with the things that we need help on, and not really even inquiring about the person who answers the phone or who responds to the email. So that's what I'm here to do today. I'm here to speak to you guys basically about technically speaking. And when I say technically speaking, I don't mean, computer. I mean you. Like Yasmin just spoke, and the other ladies who have spoken, and you who are listening right now. That's who I'm referring to. This is a personal reflection and well being for high performers. And you guys, you're high performers. But 3 reasons you become a high performer. Let's talk about that. A lot of times we don't discuss why we do what we do. We don't discuss the reasons behind it. We just do it. We do it because we want the best for our family. We do it because we want to show up as our best selves. Maybe we do it because of different responsibilities or obligations or whatever those things may be. So I want to talk a little more about it. And the first thing is the obligations or responsibilities. High achievers, oftentimes, we are the go-to person for the family. We're the one that helps out when there's help that's needed. We're the ones that most of the time we're the most responsible, and we have our ducks in a row, and we want to make sure that things are in place. Now, I didn't say that behind the scenes it wasn't chaotic, but the way that we present, we have our obligations. We think they're prioritized. Our responsibility, we're handling them all. So we feel like, we're doing well as a high achiever. But the flip part about that, ladies, is whenever these are the reasons because of obligations and responsibility and not really from a core desire, we tend to over obligate ourselves and take on other people's responsibility that they really can be taking on themselves. Which takes us to our next one. Proof to others. Sometimes we achieve things and we keep going higher and higher because for whatever reason there may have been an episode of the you won't be able to do it, or that's not for you, or women don't normally do that, or you're thinking too much, or you're thinking too big. So now we have to prove to others that not only can I do this, I'll show you that I can do this. Then the third reason is self-gratification. Self-gratification is when you go and you do that thing that you desire to do. You get that promotion. You get that credential behind your name. You have these accolades. People know your name when you go into rooms, or maybe they may not know your name, but they know your work or the role that you play in the position that you're in. If it were not for you in that specific role, certain things could not happen. Certain things could not be moved along. So it's self-gratifying to know not only am I needed, but I'm wanted. But are we really? When we really sit back and we think about these things that we're doing and why we're doing the things that we're doing, you may be like me. You're a high achiever. You've accomplished a lot. You have a lot of obligations, a lot of responsibilities. You've proven yourself to others, and you tend to feel fulfilled whenever you reach goals. But when you don't, you overanalyze yourself. You self-sabotage. You talk yourself out of things. You don't try new things from the fear of, if I don't do as well as I do in my current role or what I've done in the past, with this new thing, it's going to show me up. Or maybe it'll make people think that I'm not as amazing as I've been able to prove to people that I am. And I had to find out that not only was that an issue with being a high achiever, but it was also a trauma response. Ask me how I know. I'm glad you asked. This trauma response, family, we family now. We've been on longer than 2 minutes. We're virtual cousins, okay? So from one tech cousin to another. I know this because I'm a stroke survivor. I am a cancer survivor. The doctor told me that my stroke was stress-induced. He said, Nikita, whatever it is that is bothering you, that has you stressed, that has you overwhelmed, you are literally dying to accomplish it. So whatever it is, you need to disconnect and you need to rethink things. So thank God for, technology. I was able to get all my kids on, I was able to use Teams. They in school. They use these little things, honey. I didn't know how to do or what to do, but I knew to pull that together because I've been on teacher conferences. Baby, I got all them jokers on there. I said, the doctor said, you're killing me. I got to let you go. And they was like, no, Mom, what? And I was like, no, I'm just kidding. But I did have to set those boundaries. I did let them know that the things that I have been doing, the things that I have been showing up in the event that they didn't show up for themselves, the overcompensating, it had to stop. But why did it have to stop? This message right here, and oftentimes I'm sure you guys are familiar with it. A virus has been detected in your software. Please do not shut your system down, as it may cause permanent damage. Guys, I was shutting down. My hardware, This says your software, but I want to talk to you guys about your hard drive. And your hard drive is your mind. It's the things that you continue to say to yourself, the things that you have convinced yourself of that requires you to keep showing up as a counterfeit of yourself. You have produced this person and this version of who you thought that you should be, who you desired to be, has took the back burner to that. Because you have accomplished so much, because you are so amazing. Things have happened in the workplace, and I heard, about the layoffs and the different things. And if you are on here and you are a person who has experienced that, and you are one of the ones who have to now transition, and you feel like, it's a bad thing, or now I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do. Like, I have all of these responsibilities. I have all of these obligations. What about me? Can I tell you that you are in the absolutely best position that you could be in? I mean, let's be real. You were tired of meeting to meet, okay? You have to go on a meeting to talk about the other meeting that y'all gonna have next week, about the meeting that you're gonna have, the meeting after that. And at the end of it, it could have all been an email. You've been going back and forth with yourself about desiring to do more, desiring to accomplish this thing that keep tugging at you, but because of responsibilities at work and different things that you have to do or want to do, you can't. Because of these obligations and responsibilities, and sometimes big decisions make themselves. You asking yourself, is it time for me to do it? When should I do it? Well, no, I got to do this, and I got to make sure that I show up for this part. And of course, you got a meeting, honey, and you got to respond to that email. You got to do all of these things, but now those things are no longer barriers for you. So now you got to tap back in to that hard drive. What is wired on the inside of you? What puts a smile on your face? When Yasmin was talking, she was discussing the different things that she does, the things that spark her, the reason why she does the things that she do. But if I was to ask you ladies on here those same questions, would you be able to answer those? Would you be able to let me know, like, okay, this is why I do this. This is why I don't do this. If we can put up that first poll, and guys, remember, when you answer the questions to the poll, it is anonymous. You don't have to worry about anything being tracked. It's like, oh, Crystal said this. You don't have to worry about that, right? And I know it might be hard to believe because you guys are the tech gurus. You're like, oh, Nikita, there's always a way to find out. No, I promise you, it is anonymous. So I want you guys to answer the question, like, really, why are you a high achiever? What drives you to doing it? Is it because of obligations and responsibilities for other things and not yourself? Is it to prove to yourself that you're able to do it? But does that proof come from a place of, lower self-image? Or does it come from a place of, I know I can? Or you to look trained and could. I think I can. I think I can. Or is it for self-gratification? Because there's nothing wrong with being a high achiever. There's nothing wrong with showing up big, as long as we understand that we are the big thing. We are the light that lights up the room. I used to tell people, guys, I'm 5'10". I know you can't tell because we're virtually speaking. I'm 5'10", 6'2" on the weekend. Okay, it's hard to miss your cousin. And I always said, I want to make noise without opening my mouth. So I make sure when I walk in a room, my head is high and I have a big smile. I want to make sure that when I speak to add value to people. So why do I do that though? I'm known on social media as the hope dealer and the purpose pusher. Why? Because I know how it feels to be hopeless. I know how it feels to search for purpose. I know how that thing feels. I know how it can have you in a soft spot. It can have you in a bad place. And nobody will ever know as long as you are behind the scenes going through what you're going through. But as women, we find ourselves having to show up regardless of how we feel. But I want you to know that you're not by yourself. You're not having these feelings by yourself. I was so overwhelmed at one time. I went and, I had to seek therapy. I'm like, look, I need to know what to do. I have all these obligations and responsibilities, and I'm going through this and I'm going through that, and I'm just tired, and people taking advantage and they don't appreciate me. And then she let me vent and do all that, and she was like, well, Nikita, Do you want to hurt yourself? I was like, no, ma'am. I want to hurt others. Okay. Did you hear anything that I just said? Now, needless to say, I never got a follow-up appointment and I never understood that. And now I understand why. She's probably nervous. But see, that's what happens when you get to the point that you feel like you're about to break. Then your system starts to shut down. And there's not enough of control, outing, and deleting in the world that can get you back to where you desire to be if you don't first stop and identify what this virus is that's going on. Is it something that you need to control? Is it in your control? If it's not in your control, then honey, you have to let it go. Is it something you need to alter? Do you need to change something that you're doing? Change a place that you go to? Change people that you're around? Or do we need to just flat out delete it? Sometimes we have so much faith in a thing and in a person that we create this image of them that we desire and hope for them to be, that we ignore all of the red flags until our system ends up crashing. But we can't shut down. Why? Because it may cause permanent damage. So what can we do? I'm glad you asked. Let's keep going. How being a high achiever almost cost me everything. It's simple. It almost cost me everything because in the midst of it, I forgot who I was. I forgot that I was a big deal. I started self-sabotaging, thinking that I couldn't do a thing and maybe it wasn't worth it and maybe I won't be able to accomplish. And what if this happened? I started all of the what ifs, but I had to then remind myself, and I want to remind you ladies, listen, you got in the place that you're in because not only are you qualified, but you are also verified. If you were on social media, baby, you so verified, you will have a blue check by your name. You got to where you are because there is evidence that you can do what it is that you're doing. And I want you to use that evidence for your confidence. How are we going to do that? I'm glad you asked. Let's keep going. The ABCDs every high achiever must know. A is for awareness. You have to first be aware of not only how you feel, but why do I feel this way? Don't ignore the feeling. I need you to acknowledge it. Why? Because whenever you acknowledge it, you are able to address it. And whenever you address it, then you're able to do something about it. It's equivalent to anything, even in the tech world. If there's an issue that comes up, we have to first acknowledge the root cause so we know what to do next. So you have to be aware of why you do what you do. Be aware of why you feel the way that you feel. And then we're able to then identify the barriers. What is stopping you from making the decision that you need to make in order for you to get to where you desire to be? What is stopping you from saying no when you want to say no? Because as women, sometimes we say yes, even when the yes is way too expensive. So what is that barrier? Is that barrier something that causes you to have fear and anxiety when you think about having to do it? Is that barrier you overthinking? Is it worry? Is it doubt? Is it lack of confidence? What is the barrier that's stopping you from addressing this thing that you are now aware of? Then we're going to go to the C. This is where, my friend, most of us, we slow down. It's the capacity. We have to have the capacity to do what we desire to do, to go after that thing, to accomplish that thing. Just like your hard drive or anything that you are dealing with when it comes to tech, you have to either have enough of storage space or you got to get rid of some stuff. And when I say get rid of some stuff, I'm not necessarily talking about people unless they fit in the category, okay? I'm talking about those thoughts, those limiting beliefs. I'm talking about you over obligating yourself about things and for things that really they do not serve you. I'm talking about those responsibilities. They're really not your responsibility. But because you feel obligated, because you are the successor, because you feel obligated, because you are in a better shape than maybe some of the others. But can we be honest to ourselves? The reason why you're in a better shape, the reason why you're doing more, the reason why you are doing better is simply because the decisions that you make. It's because you have decided that you're going to do a thing and you are doing the darn thing. You decided that you're not going to do certain things and you're not doing them. But this is where I want to pause. The things you have not decided to do are the things that's going to bring you the most joy. You decided not to put yourself first because you see it as selfish. You decided to put your dreams and aspirations on the back burner because you don't have the capacity. When you even think about doing something that you need to do for yourself, like, oh, I have this to do. I have that to do. I don't have the time. There's always so many reasons on why you cannot do what it is that you really desire to do. And then when you finally decide that you want to do it, I know what usually happens. I know. This is what had me in the emergency room. This is what had me experiencing a stroke. This is the thing. And I'm excited that I can be transparent with you guys as I talk about it. I had made the decision that my purpose was to be there for other people to pursue theirs. I made that decision. So whenever I wanted to make a new empowering decision, self-doubt came, limiting beliefs came, all of the past failures I was reminded of. And because I was reminded of those things, I allowed fear to stop me. It was fear that stopped me. If you could put up the second poll where I'm asking you the things that you want to do in life. It is asking you some questions about that. And you pick the one that best relates to you about the thing that you desire to do. Like why are we not doing it? But this is what I want you guys to be able to jot down, though. If you are a person that you know what you desire to do, you don't need clarity in it. Like, you may need clarity on how to make it happen, but you are aware. You are aware, and you're also aware of the barriers and the things that's taking away your capacity. But whenever you think about doing it, whenever you want to make that decision to do it, these limiting beliefs come, and this fear and all of this other negative emotion. I want you to remember this, ladies, that a decision is a belief. And a belief is a decision. What does that mean? Whenever you think about these things moving forward, whenever you decide that you're not going to do it, I want you to switch your sentence and say, I believe that I'm not going to be successful. I believe that I'm not going to find that other role. I believe that if I go out on my own, I'm going to fail. Because when you make decisions that I'm not going to do it because I may fail, you have just said to yourself, I believe I'm going to fail. And when you switch that sentence around, it has you thinking totally different. It has you looking at things totally different. Why? Because no high achiever would decide to fail. No high achiever would decide or believe that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm not going to be able to make it. I want you to really see how these things can stop you from doing what you decide to do, from believing the way that you need to believe. And in the tech world, you can find everything. You can find everything, no matter how old it's been, no matter how long ago it's been that it's been in there. And you can go and you can look at those things and you'll be able to predict things. Like we talked about AI, you're able to create things to be able to say, well, when this is said, this is what this means. You have to do yourself the same way. The really, really dope thing about the brain is it does not work in the future. It only works in the past. So the only thing that it's able to do is grab past experiences and remind you of them so that it will allow you to say, look, you remember this. It's not designed for us to thrive. It's designed for us to survive. So what I want to encourage you to do is make a new decision. The only way you're going to be able to get over these hurdles and be able to really succeed the way that you want to, you have to have a new experience. The brain don't know the difference if it's true or false. You ever watch a scary movie and when something scared you on the TV, you jump? You're not in the screen, but the brain didn't know. So it was like, let me protect my girl, right? So that's the beautiful thing. You can have what we call an imagined experience. You imagine you being where you want to be. See yourself here where you want to see yourself. And when you start doing those things, you have different thought processes. You will start seeing yourself different. And when you start having the doubt, the negative emotions, and all of that stuff try to come back in your mind, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go back and get evidence of every time you accomplish something that you didn't think you were going to do, evidence of every promotion, evidence of every success. And when you get this evidence, guess what you're doing? You are giving yourself evidence for your confidence, because in order for you to do what you really desire to do, you have to have the confidence to do it. You already have the skills, the abilities, and all of this other stuff. But I'm talking to the lady that is listening. I'm talking to the woman that you look at in the mirror. I want you to know that not only can you do it, you have already done it. And all you have to do is make a new decision that you'd rather to do something else. I encourage you guys. I'm cheering for you guys. And I wish nothing but the best for you, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that you can do it. So if you will put up the last poll, and this poll is asking you, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from doing it? And when you answer this, I want you to understand that you're answering what your barrier is. You'll be able to identify and be aware of the capacity that you have, that you put other things and people in that you may need to go through and do a little cleaning, so that you'll be able to have room for you, and you won't be at risk for your system shutting down. I wish you the best. I know you can do it. As I already said, you've proven that you are able to do it. You're a high achiever. Continue to achieve. But I want you to put yourself as priority as you move forward. Let's stay connected, good people. On Facebook, I am Nikita B. Just plain and simple, baby. Nikita B. That's me. Also, you can go to my website. You can go to IG. I am Nikita B. You see how affirming I am, honey? I want to make sure that I am is in front of everything that's important to me, because I can remember when I wasn't important to myself. And because I wasn't important to myself, I would minimize it. But I know better now. TikTok, the Nikita B. All places on social media, it's going to be Nikita B. And as you can see, I don't have my LinkedIn on there. Of course, it's Nikita B over there as well. But, that's more professional, more poised, I'm a little different, as you can already tell. So if you need your tech cousin, I'm literally an inbox away, an email away, a conversation away. It brings me joy to help people get out of their own way, for them to unbox things, and for them to live a life of more hope, healing, and happiness. And I thank you guys again for allowing me to participate in this amazing experience.
Thank you so much, Nikita. That was amazing in every sense. You literally killed it. So inspiring. I feel like we went through all different, like just so many different emotions. So thank you so much. And I know I speak for all the women when I say that you really helped us, build our confidence again, and just remind us, who we are, how we got here, and, why we need to continue to be, great, beautiful, strong, passionate women just like you. So thank you so much again. So awesome.